towards the Vidal chicane. He's already defending. I won't try it there, but instead I will do what many people tried this race and which often went wrong, which is a pass into the final hairpin. Welcome to the Sim Racing Time Machine. My name is Robin and this is round 3 of the 1997 FIA GT Championship. We're here at the Nürburgring where we expect another great race with these amazing cars. Now in real life, the Nürburgring was round 4 of the championship, as between Silverstone and this one there was a race at the streets of Helsinki, but to be honest, we don't miss out on much by not having this track in the game. Now at this race at the Nürburgring, the season finally turned around for Mercedes as they achieved their first win here with the CLK GT1. And to put the cherry on top, it even was a 1-2 after a dominant display of their cars and drivers. The two BMW McLarens followed third and fourth, albeit a lap down. Regarding my target for this race, I thought about just going for a podium to go one better than Peter Cox did that day, but to be honest, after winning the first two races, the expectation probably is that we'd win this one again, right? So let's aim for yet another race win as we look at the starting grid, where we see us starting in P5, but a lot can be lost and won here at the first corner already as we prepare to go racing at the Nürburgring GP circuit. It is time to go trackside. Well, and here we are rounding the final corner, waiting for the green lights to get this race going at the Grand Prix circuit. Well, this is the modern Grand Prix circuit with the Vidal chicane, which unfortunately has the Mercedes arena in it that I do not like and that was not existent in 1997. But anyway, this is the version closest to the one the 1997 round took place here as we go through the hairpin, and we already lost out to two of the Porsches. Christophe Bouchot in the Crema Porsche is ahead of us, as well as Thierry Boutsen in the number 6 Works Porsche. Around the outside at the end of the Mercedes arena we go, and this is painfully slow, this one, but we are past Boutsen again. And, well, I'm not really up to P6 considering we started in P5, but, well, at least we remain in the point scoring positions. But we have a long race ahead of us as we are following one of the Mercedes that dominated this race. Well, not so much at the moment. This is again Bernd Schneider, pretty much our favorite opponent. We've battled him every race so far, and this one is no exception as of yet. So through what is nowadays the Michael Schumacher as we go, which is tricky. It looks like the AI can almost go flat out through it. I couldn't. So, yeah, this is a bit of a bummer for me. As we are following our teammate, Steve Soper now, towards the Vidal chicane, which is very quick. Third gear. And we gain on the cars ahead. Christophe Bouchot, incredible start. He's up to 4th and battling with the Mercedes of, I think that is Alessandro Nannini, who is currently in 2nd place. Pierre Raffanel checking out in the Golf McLaren at the moment. Oh, it's a big moment there for Steve Soper, but we have a bit of understeer, and this is a pattern that is developing through this race, that I'm fighting massive understeer, especially in the slow corners. And thanks to the Mercedes arena, there are quite a few slow corners, but for the moment we were sticking with the battle for P2, and we were almost right in that battle. Now, Steve Soper is kind of having a look against Bouchot. Bouchot is defending against him. Well, we are late on the brakes, dive down the inside, we try it, and again there is understeer. We make contact with our teammate. It is just a friendly touch. Now we are on the outside, but again, almost running off the road there. Battling the car, trying to make it turn. I'm even doing these corners in the first gear. as yeah, Steve Soper almost has a moment there as well. And then we're not really close enough to try anything in the Dunlop hairpin, which is coming up. This is where we passed Bernd Schneider on the opening lap. But at the moment, yeah, not really any big opportunities for me there. Take an alternate line, but the next part of the track is also where the AI is much quicker than me. When I kind of lock my brakes there into the Vidal chicane and I run wide through the gravel we go, and that has cost us a lot of time and actually brought Bernd Schneider very close to me again. So our favorite opponent is filling our rear view mirrors again towards the hairpin, the first corner hairpin we go. Easy to miss your braking point there, but we hit that apex and stay ahead. And we're jumping ahead in time a bit. Steve Soper made it past Christophe Bouchot and is up to 4th. So the Kremer Porsche is our next target. And this is good news, as that means we're still quicker than those guys ahead. Alessandro Nannini being a bit of a roadblock there, but hard to pass. The Golf McLaren in the meantime of Rafanel has absolutely checked out. There is just a small black dot you can see in the distance, as we are now getting a fantastic run on Bouchot. Towards the Vidal chicane, he's already defending. I won't try it there, but instead I will do what many people tried this race and which often went wrong, which is a pass into the final hairpin, which works this time. Well, at least we got alongside without contact. Bouchot gets the better exit, but now we have the slipstream and the superior straight line speed. It's not a long straight, but into the hairpin we go, down the inside, and again there is contact, and again Bouchot stays ahead for the moment, round the outside of that very slow corner. Here we go. We are almost fully ahead. Now we are fully ahead, but there is a bit of a moment. I have to make a correction. Bouchot again alongside, and then there is Understeer, and I understeer into Bouchot, push him off the road, and I'm very sorry for that. But yeah, that was unfortunate. I kind of, yeah, locked there into Bouchot. Who tried to stay alongside and who kind of steered into us still. But yeah, we gained the position but also lost one at the same moment. Thierry Boutsen in the Works Porsche number 6 is now ahead of us, and I am trying to stay with him now. When you see me miss the apex here, and Bernd Schneider says thank you very much and immediately repasses us. And well, now this is something I haven't considered yet, but strategy might be a very important factor in this race as well. We're almost quarter the race in, and we have a bit over half of our fuel still remaining, which we started this race, which was on a full tank of fuel. So this could be a one-stop race, but it also could be a two-stop race for some of the others. I will at one point try and start saving fuel, but I won't miss this opportunity there to repass Bernd Schneider again, but I will be saving a bit more fuel from now on to ensure that this will be one stop, because pace-wise this race is not looking too good for us at the moment, and we're jumping 5 minutes ahead as again we make our way into the hairpin, which we missed earlier. This time I do not miss it, but it is not a great run through the hairpin. I'm lacking a bit of confidence. As I said, pace-wise this is not a good race this time. We're still in 5th, we're still, well, we see the others, but I'm struggling more and more the longer this race goes on, and again I understeer off the road, and there is Bernd Schneider, who almost spins us round, who makes contact and tries to see his opportunity there. Well, I'm very sorry, we almost pushed him off the road there. But yeah, weird AI moment, again, like with Bichot, where they just steer into us when they still had a bit of room. Well, he at least had a bit of room to allow us back on the track, as we were still ahead. But well, that means that Mailänder and Yannick Delmas are now through, and we're out of the point scoring positions, which means our fuel saving strategy becomes all the more important, because pace-wise there is not much to be gained here for us. So I was starting to save a bit fuel in these stages to ensure this is a one-stop for us, and hope and pray that it will be a two-stop for many of the others, so we at least gain a few positions strategy-wise as well. Well, so much for that. I turned the fuel up again to try and stick with those guys ahead at least, and to defend from Pedro Lamy, who is putting us under pressure as well, and I do not want to drop too many positions because there's only so much you can do strategy-wise. Well, Pedro Lamy, out of the final corner, already moves ahead briefly, but we have the superior straight line speed still. Late on the brakes for the hairpin, we leave him the space, and there is a bit of contact, and then the game just decides, you know what, you turn into ghosts, so there is not more trouble. Weird glitch there, but that allowed Lamy through. And yeah, as you've seen on the start-finish straight, I also decided that I will go for a fresh set of tyres with my pit stop, because that front right has suffered a bit already. Locked it a couple of times into turn 1, which is really tricky, the downhill braking zone there. And yeah, that has cost us a bit of tyre life. And now I'm a bit torn apart between saving fuel and letting them go, and actually going racing and not letting them go, but try and get ahead. So I will be trying to get back ahead of Pedro Lamy in the Schubel Porsche. Well, that is easier said than done. Now, we stayed close through this bit, which is where I struggle the most compared to the AI. And now, at this bit, this is where I see my advantages. First, the long flat-out bit here, where we gain a lot, and then the Vidal chicane, where I'm just so much quicker, so much braver than the AI, taking a lot of curb there. And then again into the final hairpin. Oh dear, that could have gone wrong. And the race is on YouTube here at the Nürburgring, the GT1 race. It went wrong in the real race there very often as well, as we're now trying to make a move into the first corner hairpin, and surprisingly, we actually do. Now, where is Lamy? Ah, he gets the better exit on the outside and then has the inside for the next corner. I still try to go with him, and then look in my left-hand mirror who's back again. Bernd Schneider in the Mercedes comes back for more, and again And I'm really sorry, I push him out of the road as I get a massive understeer moment out of that corner. Well, Pedro Lamy, we had to let him go. Now again I'm on fuel saving as we're approaching our first pit stop, and a couple of people have already pitted as we are up to P7, so maybe they are actually on 2 stops, so this is something where we can gain later on. But again, I missed the apex here, and this is Alan McNish in the third Works Porsche, who made it past Bernd Schneider, and now also me. Oh dear, and that is Bernd Schneider through. Now, the longer this race went on, I feel like the more pressing these understeer issues got. And I must say, I'm not really enjoying this race at the moment one bit, because I just hate understeer. It's annoying, and I should have done something different with my setup here, I think, because it's not really going well. And that is actually the point where I started to enjoy the Nürburgring a bit more, as I have always been a Hockenheim kind of guy. But, well, that is not helping my sympathies for the Nürburgring this race here. So, this is now the final lap before my pit stop. You can see we had to drop back from McNish and Schneider. And Christophe Bichot is back, who we passed earlier. And he passes us as well, going into the Mercedes arena. And there is Ralph Kellernas in the Rook Porsche, kind of barging his way through. He made contact with us out of the first hairpin, so I will be a bit more aggressive with him, and we even made contact there, trading a bit of paint. Now this is proper GT racing, door to door, and he moves ahead for the moment, but I will not give this one up easily, as I will stop at the end of this lap anyway. I turn the fuel mix up and then dive down the inside of the Dunlop hairpin, and that is me back into P8 momentarily. And as I said, this was my final lap before the pit stop, and well, I'll just jump at the end of this one, because again it almost took me a minute. And we're down to P23. And that is disappointing. Behind one of the Golf McLarens, I think this is Andrew Gilbert Scott. But we will not stay with him, because we have cold tires. I need to get them up to temperature, and again, this time I will do the fuel saving at the start of this stint, because again I will need to fuel save to make it with that one pit stop. So yeah, a bit of very slow running at this point for me. So let's jump ahead with just 14 minutes to go, and this is where I turned the fuel mix up again to push to the end of this race. After all of the pit stops, we were down to P17, so strategy not working well, driving not working well, car not working as it was in Hockenheim and Silverstone, but still we were gaining on one of the Panhardts. And again, I'll let you enjoy the V12 sound of this car, which is almost the only positive I can say about this car at this point. And into the Vidal chicane. We are close once again, and we will be pulling off our favorite move here. And this is really easy this time, as I suppose Wallace is saving fuel as well. We leave him the room on the outside. We don't push him off the track, but it's good enough still. But in the background you are able to see that Jeff Lister in the G-Force Trendel Porsche is also making his way past the Panas, and he does pass us as well, as again I missed the apex of the first corner hairpin. And now, well, we're down to 17th yet again. We're stuck in this position. And this is a real bummer, especially since it's just over 11 laps to go. And it feels like pretty much all of them, or most of the other cars, actually manage to do it on a one-stop as well, especially the Porsches. They are incredibly quick because they seem to be the most fuel efficient. They don't have to save fuel, as it seems for me, so they can just push flat out. So pace-wise, they've been pretty much nowhere this entire season, but the fuel efficiency is what helped them get some good results in Hockenheim as well. And that is making up for their lack of pace in general, as I'm still sticking with Jeff Lister. But are we still close enough to try and get back ahead of him, back into P16? Which at the moment seems like it is the highest position possible for us. Down the inside into the final corner we go once again. We leave him the space, and then our straight line speed should help us, and this time it is crucial, really crucial, to get a good run through the first corner. Hug the apex on the inside, lock the front right a bit again, so good on me to change them, because those from the first stint, they would have been through by now. But our battle with Jeff Lister was still not over. Again, first turn hairpin, again struggling to get the power down, struggling to get the car turn through the Mercedes arena, and Jeff Lister is already alongside us again, and there is again a big moment there. We almost spin, and that allows Jeff Lister through once more. And I'm really over pushing it, and we are being put under pressure by one of the Nissans, and they are the slowest pace-wise, at least in Automobilista 2 of the GT1, so this is really not a good sign, being put under pressure by, I think this is the Nissan of Martin Brundle, one of the 3 works entries that have been pretty much nowhere this entire season so far. But at least, our favorite corner coming up, the Vidal chicane, and again I push it through, which will again allow me an attempt into the final corner. This time we cannot edge ahead, and Lister stays in 16th. We get a bit of slipstream, we have the better straight line speed, but the move into the hairpin is very daring, but there's not much time to go, so might as well go for it. Well, and that is my race pretty much run. The front right now really square, and we drop down to P18 even. And this is me entering what will be the final lap of this race. Again at P17, because actually there was someone on the two-step strategy that we passed again, and this is Alessandro Nannini in one of the Mercedes, who is now behind me. You were able to briefly see him in the mirrors, but with that front right, that is now absolutely dead. The understeer issues are only getting worse, so it will be a tough ask to keep the Mercedes behind, but this is the only goal that I have left in this race, at least finish in this P17, which we seem to be destined for pretty much from the beginning of the second stint. We briefly moved up into 16th, we briefly moved down to 18th, but in the end we find ourselves back in P17, and this is a huge disappointment after winning the first two races, absolutely dominating the second half in a wet Silverstone. Today the rain did not come. Maybe this could have saved us something, but it was not to be. So we failed to even score points at the Nürburgring. We can definitely say that already. And we do not just miss out on points. We miss out on points by 11 positions. And that is a humbling result. Let's just hope it's not Steve Soper winning this one, so that at least we keep a bit of a cushion in the championship. Through the Vidal chicane for the final time we go, and at least we were able to keep Nannini behind as we come around the final corner to finish round 3 of the FIA GT Championship 1997. And it is only 17th for us at the Nürburgring. But let's still look at the point scorers of today's race, and at least this is some good news, as Thierry Boutsen wins ahead of Pedro Lamy and Yannick Dalmas. It's all Porsches in the points, except for P4 Bernd Mailänder, one of the Mercedes. The rest, all Porsches. Incredible with their fuel efficiency. They absolutely crushed this race today. And in the championship standings, that means that we keep our lead with 6 points ahead of Thierry Boutsen, who moves up to second now, and Pedro Lamy is up to third. Steve Soper failed to score. He finished 8th and is only 4th in the championship now. And in the teams championship, it is still Team BMW Motorsport, our team, leading 9 points ahead of the Porsche Works team, and well, 19 points ahead of David Price Racing and Schubel Rennsport. Mercedes absolutely disappointing, only in 5th with 5 points. Well, and that has been it for round 3 of this championship. A disappointing one for us, but we can already look ahead to round 4, which will take place at Spa-Francorchamps, a track I do absolutely like, and I'm really looking forward to make up for the poor results today. Subscribe if you not want to miss that, and leave a like if you did enjoy this video. I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.